Very good. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you. Welcome for joining us this afternoon. My name is Monty Wyatt, and I'm not only excited for 2021, the remainder of 2021, but how each of your lives are going to change because of our time together today. We are going to be talking about transforming your practice beyond coaching and discussing executive organizational development today. But in order to make our topic real and impactful immediately, I want to share with you a brief story of one of our newest facilitators. This is Rose. Rose is an experienced executive and an experienced executive coach. After attending our 4-day training and certification class, she approached one of her current clients with the opportunity of going through our 2-day strategic thinking execution planning session. Because of their relationship, they of course said yes. After this 2-day retreat, the response of impact and the need for assistance to implement, Rose was able to take their current relationship from $30,000 a year to $50,000 a year, and from paying monthly to prepaying quarterly. With this one client, Rose immediately got a return on her investment and gained confidence of how our process works and how to implement it. So, if you'd like to push the raise your hand button, I think you can do that just to let me know if that sounds something like what you would like to have your clients do, increase their investment and pay quarterly. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So love to see those raising their hands. Do appreciate that. Today, again, we're going to be talking about organizational development. And we're going to give you a taste of an amazing process and show you how you can gain greater return on investment with your current clients and your future prospect opportunities. We're also going to close today with talking about how you can become certified in the process that we are sharing. So before we go any further, just a couple of housekeeping items. The webinar will be recorded, and you will receive a link of the recording afterwards. So you'll get a chance to watch it again if you miss a few things. And I do want to encourage, if you have questions, go ahead and type them into the Q&A box, and we'll make sure that we answer each of your questions as we go through our time together. Just again, to introduce myself, again, my name is Monty Wyatt. For the past 25 years, I've been helping executives and coaches change their perspective to gain greater results, return, and culture in their organization. And as CEO of Adding Zeros, I train and certify coaches, trainers, and consultants around the world to increase their size of clients and their income from clients. So I am also the author of Pulling Profits Out of a Hat, a great book that goes in depth into the concepts that we're going to share with you here today. I love this quote by Peter Drucker. Only 3 things happen naturally in organizations: friction, confusion, and underperformance. Everything else requires leadership. Leadership and management are 2 different things, and I'm going to explain that difference here in a few moments. But both are needed more than ever today. Most executives don't know the difference, not only in their actions, but also their thoughts between what leadership and management is. As an organizational development facilitator, this is our opportunity right now to make a big impact in the marketplace. So just for a little clarity of who's with us here today, I'd like to do a quick poll. If you would, please select how you would describe yourself. Just go ahead and click. How would you describe yourself from the options that we have in front of you? Very good. Excellent. So we see consultants, trainers, we see executive coaches, business coaches. Wonderful. I love to see those, and everything we talk about today will help each of you. And that is a powerful concept I want you to get. No matter what your position is, the tools that we're sharing today can help you in where you're at. Now, when we work with clients, we are all challenged with making an impact and getting a return on the investment. In order to really measure results, we need to know how to define a great business. So if you would, just in the chat box, type in a word or two that you would use to define a great business. Go ahead and type in the chat box how you would describe or define a great business. Sustainable, I love that one. Thank you. Growth oriented, very good. Excellent, love to see those. I am going to share with you the definition that we at Adding Zeros use. And a great business is one that achieves success by being sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and has an emotional connection. So I want to just describe each of those briefly for you. Sustainable, in our minds, it means that the business will outlast every one of us. We're making decisions every day for the long term of the organization. We're making decisions that will outlast us. Predictable, we want to make sure that we understand when we do action A, we get result B. And those are the critical things for growth as well. Stable, stability is all about the team. The team has high engagement. We have high retention of employees. Consistent, internally and externally, we want to make sure that we are consistent to our customers. They know what to expect, and we're also consistent to our team members. They also know what to expect. That's consistency in a great business. And lastly, it has an emotional connection, meaning that I am connected because I love who we are, how we behave, and where we are headed. That is the definition of a great business that I think is really powerful, sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and has an emotional connection. And there are gaps in every one of the organizations in the world today within those 5 areas. So a great business also adds zeros. So adding zeros is much bigger than just revenue and profits. Adding zeros includes every area of a business or organization. So where do we want to add zeros? In not only revenue and profits, but engagement, new clients, client retention, employee retention, employee involvement, business longevity, community involvement, every aspect we can grow in a business. That's adding zeros. Excuse me. When I think of adding zeros, it's also growing exponentially. We're not just adding zeros to grow a few percentage. We want to grow a few times, not 10%, 10 times. So we're adding zeros in every aspect of the business. So again, just for fun, by raising your hand again, how many of you have clients or know organizations that could benefit from adding zeros in all of these areas or any of these areas? Excuse me. Wonderful. Love to see those hands up. Very good. So each of these areas are critical to our client's business and our own. And how do we add zeros? We add zeros through discipline, through organizational discipline. Now, there's personal discipline, and I look at personal discipline as executive coaching and development, but there's organizational discipline. That's where we look at organizational development. We, as Adding Zeros facilitators, ensure that our clients have both. There are 5 disciplines that every organization must possess and develop to have and experience exponential growth and have that definition of a great business. Those 5 disciplines are strategy, business development, people, execution, and mission. And so here's a graphic of how I like to express those 5 disciplines and how they connect to the definition. The strategy discipline connects with sustainability. Business development discipline connects with predictability. People discipline, stability. Execution discipline, consistency, and the mission discipline connects to emotional connection. Now, as I look at these disciplines, most organizations do well at maybe 2 or 3 of them. Most coaches also do well at maybe 2 or 3 of these. And our focus is helping mid-market companies. Mid-market to me is 10 million to $1 billion in revenue. And we as executive development facilitators have to have a holistic approach and process in order for these companies to scale and add zeros. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go through and share with you insights and a component from each of the 5 disciplines. So you're going to get a good sense of some of the key activities and processes within each area. So the first discipline is strategy. For strategy to be successful, an organization must define 4 areas: the opportunity that they fill in the marketplace, the leverage that the organization possesses, how the organization is scalable, and how marketable the organization is. Once each of those 4 have been clearly defined, we have clarity of how the organization will win. Everyone in an organization should understand their role in helping the company win. To communicate this, a 1-sentence strategy needs to be created. To explain this, I want to use the example of Southwest Airlines. I'm sure everyone has heard of Southwest. They may not be one of the largest airlines, but they certainly can say that they've been one of the most profitable and successful. Their 1-sentence strategy is wheels up. And that is a powerful statement. This means that the company is successful when planes are in the air. Every team member, from the pilot to the flight attendant, to the luggage handler, to those that are helping the passengers board the plane, know what they must do in order to achieve wheels up. A 1-sentence strategy clearly answers how we will win, how the organization will win long term. This is simplicity, and simplicity is powerful. And that is one of our objectives to help with strategy discipline is, first of all, defining it, but then ensuring that everyone knows how their role supports it. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Have you, with every one of your clients, helped create great clarity on what their 1 sentence is? Better yet, I want you to look in the mirror. Do you have great clarity of your 1-sentence strategy for your business and how you're going to win? A great organizational strategy creates sustainability, regardless of the economic climate. As an Adding Zeros facilitator, you are taught not only how to help an organization create their strategy, but how to implement it in everyday lives of every person on the team. So the first discipline is strategy, and it creates sustainability. The second discipline is business development. There are 3 components within business development: marketing, sales, and customer service. Marketing attracts customers, sales converts, and customer service keeps our customers. Now, there's a lot of depth in each one of these 3 areas, and none of them can be truly effective if we aren't clear on our core customer. As an Adding Zeros facilitator, we help ensure that our clients have clearly defined that core customer. We believe that a core customer should be defined or described in 25 words or less, using demographics and psychographics. And psychographics are the most important. They define the needs, wants, and desires of who we want to be doing business with. Those needs, wants, and desires help us communicate and attract the most profitable and easy to do business with audience. Without defining clearly who our core customer is and how we will serve them, it is hard to be predictable. Predictable is the result of the discipline of business development. Every area of a business needs to take responsibility for all three: marketing, sales, and customer service. And it begins with understanding who our core customer is. So as an example of maximizing a core customer, I want to share another real and impactful story from one of our facilitators. This is Kevin. Kevin is an incredible business coach. Prior to getting certified with Adding Zeros, Kevin desired to have larger clients, but he didn't have the tools, didn't have the process or the language to make it happen. He had the desire and connections, but not a clear process or content that connected him with those people. After training, Kevin approached a prospect with great confidence. They were a small mid-market organization that had many divisions. Following our process of communication, attracting, and personalizing their relationship, Kevin gained his first $200,000 a year executive development client. Now, that number may not be the norm, but having a six-figure client is. Kevin is very excited about who he's targeting and has the confidence and the tools to make it happen. I want to reinforce a couple of items and reiterate a few things that I just said there. The tools and the process and the language. The mid-market CEO and executive team think differently than a small business. So we have to make sure we have the right languaging, the right process that matches their needs and their desires. So just for fun, let's do another poll. Let's see how many six-figure clients would you like to have? I'll give you a few seconds to answer. How many six-figure clients would you like to have? I love it. Oh, we got somebody that wants 20. We got somebody that wants 10. We got 5. I love those numbers. So I really appreciate you sharing those things. And I want you to make sure that you know that you can gain great numbers of Adding Zeros clients and build a practice full of these large clients. And you can manage that many clients because of the way that our process works and the leverage that you create with our clients. So you can manage the relationships and have many six-figure clients. So love to hear that. So it is possible to have $1 million practice through this number of clients. All right, the first discipline is strategy. The second is business development. The third discipline is people. There are 3 components to the people discipline: leadership, talent development, and recruitment. Leadership is all about creating self-leadership behaviors. Talent development is taking organizational ownership of growing and improving the skill sets of our team. And recruitment is critical in growing an organization. We must attract the right people. I want to spend a couple minutes on talent development. As I mentioned, organizations must take ownership of growing and improving the skill sets of their team. To reinforce this, I want to share a brief story about the Container Store. Now, if you've never been to a Container Store, you need to visit one. They are incredible in their service and not in their products that they have. But the average retailer trains their new employees 2 to 4 hours before putting them to work. The Container Store trains new employees for no less than 200 hours before they are asked to work on the floor. They have an amazing onboarding experience. The new employee has the confidence, the knowledge, and the sales skills to help the customer the best. Now, why is this important? Most retail, better yet, most organizations don't train their new hires enough. The employees don't stay long enough while they're there. They're not selling and servicing the customer to the best of their abilities. The Container Store has high retention, high sales per team member, and great service. As an Adding Zeros facilitator, we teach our clients how to create greater stability in their team with ongoing training and support for their employees. Every business out there can improve their talent development. And it's not just for new hires, it's for every employee that can gain skill sets and knowledge to be best in their role. All right. Discipline 1 was strategy. Discipline 2 is business development. Discipline 3 is people. The 4th discipline is execution. The 3 components of execution are process, management, and financial controls. I want everybody to make sure you write this phrase down. We lead people and manage processes. At the beginning of the webinar, I mentioned that leadership and management are not the same, and they both are needed more than ever today. As an Adding Zeros facilitator, we clearly define them differently. Leadership creates passion and focus, where management creates competence and productive team members. Leadership casts direction, supports the team with positivity and encouragement. Management takes ownership of their team's capabilities. Our process helps managers understand the need for good management, which includes ensuring they know how to do their job and that they are efficient in their job. Good management does not say, get the job done and leave them alone. Leadership and management are learned skills, and we teach them to follow proven practices for both, not only for our clients, but for our Adding Zeros facilitators. Great execution equals consistency internally and externally. Leadership and management are a big part of execution. Again, we lead people, we manage processes. And in today's business world, every business needs to understand that difference. All right, we made it. Discipline number 5, mission. Now, this is not about a mission statement. This is about who we are and why we do what we do. The 3 pieces of mission are values, purpose, and giving back. I'm going to take a few minutes and dig into core values. Core values, better yet, living our core values, create the culture of an organization. Core values and culture can be very sensitive and misunderstood. First of all, core values have to be defined and they have to be behavioral. One of my clients of over 4 years, and they have greater than 500 employees, have had their core values for 15 years. Unfortunately, they weren't written behaviorally. They were written dictatorially. No one knew the values, let alone knew how they should behave because of them. Core values drive culture. Values need to be taught, need to be incorporated into the daily lives of every employee. Every team member is responsible for ensuring the organization lives by their values. Everyone has to be that culture keeper. Our role as an Adding Zeros facilitator is to help ensure that our clients stay true to who they are by living the right behaviors, incorporating those values into daily work and their everyday interactions. Culture must stay the same regardless of good or bad times, COVID or no COVID. It's the oxygen of a great business. Now, my challenge to you is, how good of a culture keeper are you for your clients? Our tools and proven resources help you teach your clients to be culture keepers each and every day. When we fully implement the discipline of mission, we create emotional connection because our core values define our culture. That emotional connection is now within our team, our customers, and the communities that we're doing business in. So I want to share a graphic that puts it all together. We add zeros when all 5 disciplines are being implemented and working together. Some are going to be stronger than others. Our role as an Adding Zeros facilitator is to help create organizational discipline in our clients' businesses. When this happens, they experience exponential growth and they achieve that definition of a great business, which is, again, sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and has an emotional connection. Now, I want to share one more item. Actually, there's 5 more items in this graphic of what we call the constituents that every business has to satisfy. When we implement these disciplines, we satisfy our constituents. So, for example, strategy and business development satisfy the company constituent, because again, we want the organization to be long lasting. It should outlast every one of us. The customer is the next constituent. We satisfy the customer when we train our people and we have great customer service and we treat them well through our marketing and sales process. We satisfy the team constituent, again, when we're training our folks, our employees, and we are satisfying the team when we have great processes, great management, and we are successful in our financials. We also satisfy the stakeholder. The constituent of a stakeholder is satisfied when we do have great financials, but every stakeholder wants to believe that we are a great organization through our values and our purpose. And we also should be satisfying the constituent of our communities. The communities that we're doing business with, we need to be volunteering, we need to be participating and supporting every community that we're doing business in. So this is our model. There's a ton of depth here. In every step, we teach a process called strategic thinking, execution, planning, that we go deep into organizations. We go wide into organizations to help them ensure they have the discipline in each of these areas. So we've talked about a lot of things today. So now what? We want to grow exponential organizations, and we do that through that great definition again. But before I go any further, I want to share a couple of testimonials. The first one is from a client of Adding Zeros, one of our facilitators. Through the process, we have become goal-oriented and forward-thinking. We've developed more trust with our employees and have learned to empower them. We are now all in this together. The Adding Zeros process helps us develop better critical thinking abilities. That last sentence, I love to see that. One of our objectives as an Adding Zeros facilitator is to teach not only the executives, the CEO and their team, but every team member to develop critical thinking abilities. That's when we become exponentially growth oriented. The second testimonial here is from one of our newest facilitators. Adding Zeros has given me the language and process to feel more comfortable in talking with larger organizations. It's helped me see the difference between discipline and having discipline. I love that distinction. You know, when people don't perform, we feel we got to give them discipline. But actually what we create as Adding Zeros facilitators is organizational discipline. So it's making it, this is how we do things as an organization. So those are 2 great examples, and I love to see the successes that people are having. So now each of you have a choice to make, and you really have 3 options. Number 1, you've enjoyed the time, you've gotten a couple ideas, but this isn't for you. The second one is, you're going to take the information, you're going to do it yourself. Hey, maybe you're going to read the book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat. I would love that. Amazon has that great book that you can get it. And finally, the third option is to take action. If you're serious about attracting bigger and better clients, I want you to choose to make 2021 your breakout year. I want you to choose the results like we've just shared and move closer to having the business that you've been dreaming about and building. So here is the process. And this is step one in our process right here is you've attended today's free webinar. We've cracked the code. We really believe that these disciplines and the focus on constituents and the definition and all of the content behind each area gives us the great process. So today is step one, free webinar. Step two is on June 9th. June 9th, we are conducting a one-day training where you will become a certified Adding Zeros associate. What you will learn during that day is how to increase your retention, your client investment, and the return on investment, because we're going to help you go deeper into their organizations and get greater results. You're going to gain confidence in how to work with larger clients. You're going to understand the 5 disciplines to a greater and deeper level. And we incorporate it into every discussion, the language that you need to learn for the mid-market to have powerful conversations. In addition to getting certified as an Adding Zeros associate, you're going to get white papers on the disciplines, and you get approval to using the content of the book. So that is step 2. Step 3 is going to the next step of becoming a certified facilitator. This is training for implementation and facilitation. We facilitate a process called strategic thinking, execution, planning. And that is great organizational development and a great process that we follow. It's a 4-day training in July where we teach you 6 different 12-week programs that you can utilize, but you also learn that strategic thinking, execution, ongoing annual process that clients stay for many years. And you're going to get the tools and the resources to maximize those clients' relationships. And another major part of becoming a certified facilitator, you get to interact with a global community of certified facilitators. So really want you to encourage to look at those 2 items. One of the things that we've begun doing, because we understand what's going on in the marketplace, we have scholarships to attend that 4-day training. And the scholarships are available up to 100%. We have some that are partial scholarships, some full scholarships. So what you'll need to do is follow the link that's in the chat box, and it'll also be in the message that you'll get afterwards, the follow-up email. So follow that link, apply for the scholarship, and register for the upcoming 1-day. So again, you've attended today. We have a 1-day on June 9th, and then the 4-day in July 12th. So my closing challenge to everyone here today is, are you adding zeros or are you adding zero? My challenge is for those of you who really want to gain long-term clients, large clients, 6-figure clients, really take the step, reach out to us. We'll gladly have a conversation with you, talk about the 1-day, the 4-day, get you that information so we can make an amazing impact on your business and your client's business. So if you would like to have that conversation, again, please connect. We'll gladly spend some time chatting with you. So again, really appreciate everyone joining us here today. And thank you for your time. And I look forward to helping you add zeros in the world. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful day.